How can we enjoy life longer and work less? And the next question is, do you know what is the percentage of US population that become financially free before the age of 50? Right? It actually only 1%. I'm seeing somebody say, I'm sorry. Okay, someone leave and come back.
No worries, Sarah. I'll look after that.
Thank you. Thank you, Kara. So it's only 1%. So we are actually have a lot of friends who actually don't know how to be financially free before the age of 50. And what I'm trying to do is trying to change that, trying to bring more people into the second part, like the world of the wealthy, work less and enjoy life longer. So my promise to you today is I would like you to gain more clarity on what's stopping you from having money success. And I want you to understand the roadmap so that you can stop working for money and make money work for you. And in the end, I would like you to see that you are so much closer than financial freedom than you think, and you are much richer than you think. And when you start to shift this mindset and understand how to go about and make money work for you, you start to open the floodgate of wealth for the generation to come. If you have kids, I have 2 children, and that is like my main motivation of why I am doing what I am doing right now. And this is the cheat sheet, how the cheat sheet look like if you haven't downloaded. And today we're going to cover, I'm going to go quite quick right now, and then I'll slow down later on. So the 2 obstacles that will prevent you from money success, and how much saving is enough for you. I know a lot of people trying to save so hard, but how much is enough? And the money not so secret of the rich. Also, your personal financial freedom formula. Let's see what kind of formula will fit into your current state of life. And the option to grow your money. What are the options out there? Investment strategy for your financial freedom in a safe and less labor intensive way. And the 5-step plan to your financial freedom, of course. And I would like to touch a little bit on how to use other people's money to multiply your return. So you're probably wondering if there's an easy way to financial freedom, why most people doesn't stop working and pursue the freedom path. And the reason is really because of there's 2 obstacles that prevent people from reaching their financial freedom faster. The first obstacle is a lot of people don't understand themselves inner game. And what do I mean by that? Most people don't really understand what they want and why. Yes, we kind of having a vague idea of, oh, I want to have a good lifestyle, I want to travel more, but they never really translate that into dollar and cent. They don't translate that into number. When you don't translate what you want into number, you actually don't have a clear path of what are you actually walking toward. And also you need to understand why. If the reason is just the nice to have or something to serve ego, normally when the thing gets tough, we stop. Right? And the second thing is when people know what they want, they also don't dare to think about when can they get it. Like it's nice to have a big house, nice to have a car, but when can we get that? So once we get clear on this, we can start to walk in the direction that we want it to be. And most people can know what they want when they want, but then everybody freeze in how to get to what we want when we want it. And the very important point is, who are you when it comes to money? What is your relationship with money? Are you trying to work hard to earn money? And most of us are actually. So do you see money as a tool, or you feeling like I'm lacking of money, I don't have enough money? So we have to understand who are we in the money system. Are we a consumer only, Are we producing something to contribute to economy, or are we an investor in economy? I'm going to go into more detail in this stuff. And the obstacle number 2 is we've been misled by the external game. What do I mean by that? You maybe can relate. Like, we've been working so hard for money because we are in the system of carrot and stick, right? We work under the pile of documents. We sleep under the office table sometimes. And then if we don't do it, we're afraid that we're not going to have enough. So, and we are so busy, just like these 2 cavemen I find. I love this picture. Like the 2 cavemen are pulling the rock with the square wheel, and then somebody come along trying to give them a circle wheel, and they said, no thank, we are too busy. Like, we are too busy to look for the best way to do things more efficient. So if you are in this situation, you probably have identity crisis when it's come to money. You relate yourself with someone who have to work hard for money, or work to earn your living instead of having money work for you. And then you will resist the idea of having money work for you, but you will flow with the idea of I have to work hard to earn money. So that's why the vicious cycle is never stopped. But this is really not your fault, because we have been kept away from the hidden truth around economic system. Right? We are always in some sort of system, like from small unit, like family, school, corporate, right? In every system, they have their own rule, they have their own policy that we have to follow. And when it's come to money, it is the same thing. We are in economic system that have been developed for the past 500 years. And you know it, what it is. So we are in the game, I call it the game, the capitalism game. Like, this word is so out there. We know, we have heard about it, but we never have time to really stop thinking about what does that mean. So let's check the meaning. Capitalism. Capital is wealth, that is money and goods that used to produce more wealth. Capitalism is practiced enthusiastically by the capitalists, people who use capital to increase product and make more goods and money. So my question to you is, do you have a capitalist skill? If you do not have a capitalist skill, it would be like you are in tennis game and you're trying to use ping pong racket to play the game. It will never be fun. And let me show you this picture. I see it at the beginning, I'm so upset, but it's so true. This picture illustrated from the idea of Louis Blanc, the French socialist and historian. So the money on top, right, the capital back, people who closer to the capital is the ruler, and they say, we rule you. So this ruler in the past is king, queen, lord. That's why the name landlord. Like today would be government. And in order to rule everyone, they need a strategy. Like, what is the strategy? First, they use belief system, they use religions, they use priests and Vatican. And that's why we hear that we have to work hard for your king, we have to work hard for your country, we have to work hard for your God. And God sitting there is like, I didn't say this. Right? But they use it for their own convenience to manage people. And if this strategy fails, the next strategy will be the military. If you and police, if you don't listen to my rule, we're going to shoot at you. And also in the past, they would use military to conquer new land and slave to work the system, right? So these people will go raise money, get more money to fund their military and go and conquer the land, to get more land, resources, and slave. Today, the strategy change of how they gain more land and labor, like immigration, office have different rule. But the idea of capitalism concept is still the same. And then we have the next class, they say, we eat for you. this is like aristocrats in the past, and today would be the lobbyists, people who have connection to the upper class, or the rainmaker, someone who make the big project happen, like power plant project, hundred of $1,000,000. They know where the project needed to be. They go and talk to the top guy, and somebody get commission. And us, we work for all, we feed all. Today, we're not a bread maker or the smith anymore, but we're working for corporate, but the idea is still the same. We feed the system. Myself, my parents, and the 3 generations before me is the same. We are supporting the system until we have a capitalist skill, so that we can move up the capitalism pyramid. When you have a money skill, you move closer to money. That's why they call follow the money. So I'm just going to briefly introduce myself. So I'm not financial advisor. I'm not selling mutual fund or insurance. I'm not world financial expert. Those are Mr. Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio. I'm not ultra high net worth individual. I'm just born from the very humble place in Thailand. That's me there. But my parents believe in education. They thought that education will give us the golden ticket in life, and that is me getting my PhD. I trust my parents so much that I become such a good student. I even was in the newspaper because I was one of the best researchers in my field. And when I graduate, I work for my parent hope and dream, working for security, actually in the cubicle. That's me start to work, smiling, but actually crying inside because I hate my work. And that when I start to explore what is the best way to work for money, since I hate it, but I have to be there for money. So I realized that the best way to make money is to be closer to money, right? So investment. So I start to work I shift and I work for the investment bank. I work in order to look for the project for the company to take over and buy. I work with high net worth individuals to help them source their investment. I work with high ranking officer. This is the Minister of Energy in Thailand. But the consequence is that what happened is I have to travel for a long period of time. And my daughter, when I come home, doesn't want to sit close to me because she doesn't know me anymore. So it's very sad. In the end, working for ambitious and ego is no good. So again, I pivot myself to do what I love and work for my passion today. So today, I become a financial peace and freedom trainer. I start my life in Canada with $6,000. Actually, I remember my first paycheck for a while was 600 Canadian dollar, and my rent was $300. Thinking back, it's like, wow, I came a long way. So I bring my 6,000 to 7-figure in asset before 40. So yes, 40 is young now and beyond that. So I'm a professional investor and trader, also a portfolio consultant to high net worth professional. This company, I did it with my partner. I am financial truth advocate, a wife and a mother of 2. Because of all my background, I'm trusting in the scientific method. That's why I believe in the art and science of investment. I need to learn it before I start investing 10 years ago. But I do believe in God giving free will and oneness. So in order to make the world good for my children, I think we have to have more happy people, and happy people shouldn't have to be worried about finance. And that's why I do what I do. So what is a conventional thinking way about becoming financially free? I think most of people would think about working hard and save more, right? But I want to be the one who tell you that you cannot really save your way to freedom. And let me show you why you cannot save your way to freedom. Let's use a study case. Let's say if you have an annual income of $70,000 and you're trying to save 10% of your income. So that means you're saving $7,000 a year and you work for 30 years. So 7,000 multiplied by 30, then 210,000. So that the net saving after your career. So let's see what you need after you retire. So let's say you're going to live 30 years after you retire. So from 60 to 90, and you want to maintain half of your current lifestyle after you retire. So that means like right now, current lifestyle, this person maintain it at 70,000. Half of the lifestyle will be 35,000. Multiply that by 30 years of living after retirement. So you need $1 million about. So you see that your saving only result in 20% of what you need after your retirement. So the question is, would living at 20% of your current lifestyle is what you want to reward yourself after 30 years of working? Like that is absolutely something that I can't accept. So what can we do? Like what can you do? Is financial freedom possible for us, for you, for me? Can you reach financial freedom way before your retirement age? The answer is yes, right? Big yes. And I want to show you what is actually financial freedom mean. You will be financially free when you have enough capital invest in your asset. And you can take the income from your asset to cover your expense while keeping your capital growing and supplying you with enough income as long as you live and beyond. So let's see the process of doing that. Roadmap to financial freedom. So let's see, this is of us. We have to work to earn our earned income, and that income go to our expense, right? We have more expense. We can go travel, we can buy house, buy second house or cottage, right? Or whatever left from expense we save the difference. But in order to be financially free, when you save, then you go and buy asset. Actually, not just save and wait for retirement. You save, you go and buy asset. That asset will generate income for you. And then you use that income to replace one of the expense. You continue to save more, buy more asset, get more income from the asset, replace another expense. And you keep buying asset to replace your expense. And in the end, when you have enough income to cover all your expense, you don't have to work for your earned income anymore. You can just sit back, relax, do what you love, or don't do anything, or volunteer work. This is the roadmap to financial freedom in our capitalism society. If we are not in capitalism society, this strategy might not be working. But at this point, we are. So let's see the mindset of the rich and the poor. The rich and the poor mindset, really. So the rich will think, how can I have financial freedom? The poor will think, why I can't have a financial freedom? Do you see the difference? One is trying to go and get solution. The other trying to justify why I cannot having what I want, right? So the rich will work hard to accumulate assets from the first paycheck, and the poor will work hard to accumulate liabilities in the first paycheck. I talk about asset and liability. I'm going to explain what it means. And the rich will work hard to acquire investment skill to grow more asset. And the poor will work hard to get promotion. We thought promotion is a good thing, but it's not that great when it comes to wealth building. So the poor will work hard to get promotion and save more for future. And we know saving get us nowhere. And the rich will continue to build up the pile of assets and to generate more passive income and portfolio income. The poor will keep working for earned income to fund lifestyle. The rich will use income from the asset to fund the cost of her lifestyle more and more. The poor will rely on saving and pension for future. The rich then will take control of money matter by herself, and the poor will delegate, avoid, and ignore anything to do with money except spending and consuming, because The society led us to believe that we should be consuming. We are in consuming society. And the rich will free herself from working for earned income in a couple of years, and the poor will rely on luck to be financially free. So what are the assets and what is liability? So there's a way to define asset and liability in accounting standard, but let's put it in a practical term. Asset is anything that put the money into your pocket, and liability took the money out of your pocket. And then that's you. You can be both asset to yourself if you put money back into your pocket. And you can also be liability for yourself if you take the money out of your pocket. So how can we save? For early financial freedom lifestyle, so that we have capital that we're going to save for, and we have time. So in a wealth generation, there's 3 cycles. The first phase of our wealth generation, we have accumulate phase. This is when we're trying to brutally save. The more we save, the shorter this accumulate phase would be. And when we save, we don't have to save up to $1 million as we see in our study case. We actually save to the point where I call critical mass. Then after you reach a critical mass, you will use that critical mass to invest so that you can amplify and reinforce your capital. You can grow your capital through investment. Once you have enough size of your investable money, then you can start to spend it. Then that's a spending phase. How big or how long of each phase accumulate? How many years? Reinforcement phase, how many years? Spending phase, how many years? This is depend on your skill. And how much is critical mass is enough for you is also depend on 3 factors. The first factor is time. If you start investing when you are younger, if you start money management when you're younger, you don't need a big capital. You don't need big critical mass because you have time as your friend to invest. But then if you coming into investment later in life and you don't have a lot of critical mass, then you need a bigger compound rate of return. This is the interest on your critical mass. The compound rate of return to be whatever percent is depend on your skill. The more investment knowledge you have, you can get a higher return on your investment. And then the next factor again is you. Whether you're going to be big liability to yourself or you're going to be an asset to yourself. If you're an asset to yourself, you'll go and trying to find a way to increase your compound rate of return. And then I was talking about financial freedom. A lot of people come to me and thinking that, oh, financial freedom means if I need that $1 million, I have to have that $1 million in the bank, then I can be free. No, it's not like that. It's a state as well as a step. Like we cannot go from financial worrying to financial freedom in the next day. The good news is gradual and it's easier because the next step from financial worrying is financial peace. When can you have financial peace? The financial peace would come when you actually know that you have a skill to invest. And the financial freedom will come when you have that critical mass and the skill. So once you have critical mass and skill, you can sit back and relax and know that, hey, you already have financial freedom. You don't have to have that 1 million or 2 million to be financially free. You just need skill and critical mass. So how are you doing? Is it too fast? Are you feel like difficult or discouraged? The critical mass, is it difficult?
So maybe just, Sarah, the critical mass, just to explain that would be, for example, you save for a deposit to buy a house. So you save that amount. You don't have to save, obviously, the full amount. So your critical mass is getting to a stage where you can invest or buy an asset
Right.
And
Okay,
yeah,
I'm going to touch on that as well on the housing later on. So let me say this. Okay. So critical mass, very good question, because it's very important component in well-building journey. So let's see what critical mass that is right for you, or what is your financial freedom formula for you. So let's see the first case. If today you have 50,000 critical mass, can be 50,000 euro, any financial unit that is applied to your currency, let's say 50, and the rate of return from your mass is 7%. And let's say that this person is young, she have a long time to invest, so let's say 40 years. So at the end of 40 years, you will compound the money to be 800,000. And when you continue to invest that 800,000 at 7% compound return, you will end up with a monthly income of $4,700 or euro. So let's see the second case. If you have critical mass, the same 50,000, but now you go and get more skill and you can invest at 11% return on your compound rate. So less than 22 years, you will amass it to 550, but that 550 continue to invest at 11%, that will give you $5,000 a month. And let's say somebody come along with a bigger saving as a critical mass at 150,000, and they can do a compound rate of return at 15%. Then in 6 years, they will compound the money mass to be 400,000, but that 400,000 continue to invest at 15% in the year 7. So that person in year 7 will have also $5,000 monthly income from that investment. As you can see here, if a person cannot get a high compound rate, they have to have a longer year in order to have a decent monthly income from that critical mass. If you have a little bit of skill, like you use less year and you have about the same monthly income. Now, if you have a skill to get that higher compound rate of return, then you only use and then you have sizable amount of critical mass, you use only 6 years, and year 7 you already have $5,000 to use every month. And one of my client, the other client who actually a client of our consulting firm, he realized that he have a little too short time before he retired to compound his money, and he come with a little too little money mass to compound before he retired, because he want to retire in the next 7 years. So then he give us all his pension money and let us invest for him, me and my business partner. But even though he know that he's a little short, but he wasn't depressed by it or panic. So he told us that, hey, that's okay, that's my mistake, and I'm going to work a little bit more year, like extra more year, and save more money and give that money into this critical mass for you to invest, and hopefully he can catch up. And for us, and he also learning to invest in the same time. So for me and my partner would be happy to return the portfolio for him once he have the knowledge. Because in order to get a higher return, you need skill. So now, once you understand the concept of critical mass and compound rate, you can think about what kind of income lifestyle goal that you actually want. Would that be $4,000 a month? 5,000, 10,000 a month, 20,000 or $50,000 a month, right? So let's sit down and think about, hey, what is enough for my expense? You can do your income and expense, and you will see how much you actually need to maintain the lifestyle that you want. So the question is this: how serious are you about your financial freedom? Like how much you're willing to do? And if you are serious about it, let me show you the option to grow your money. So the first one is cash. Everybody know about cash, and most people are comfortable just to have cash and save it in saving account and earn interest. The bad news is cash doesn't have financial growth, because right now in most of the bank you don't earn any interest, and in Ireland you probably have negative interest. So cash is very risky, because as long as there's inflation rate, the cash will lose its buying power. The inflation rate is what makes the product and service become more expensive every year. So if you put cash in the bank and it doesn't grow, so your $100 or euro today, next year will feel like 95 euro, because it actually loses its buying power. The next option is bonds. What I mean by bonds here is government bond. It's a government debt. It's very safe because government guarantee it. But these days, the government bond also doesn't give us enough interest to sustain the inflation rate. So the risk is the losing money power, buying power through inflation. The next option is stock. So you can invest in stock through mutual fund, or in Europe, they call it unit trust fund. What mutual fund really is that there's a fund manager, like for example, my business partner in the other firm, he used to be a mutual fund. So mutual fund manager is a person who you pretty much delegate your money control or your investment control to them. So they will go and select the company for you. Apple, Amazon, Google, all these, or Facebook, all these company, they put it in the basket of fund, like all the company put it in the basket, and then they will come and sell you in unit. So you can buy mutual fund. It's an indirect way to invest in stock market. Mutual fund will help you grow your finance, but it's not much, because most of mutual fund manager, they underperform. And it's also risky, the same risk, because they invest in stock market. Then the next option is you can invest in stock through ETF. ETF is a short form of exchange traded fund. Don't worry about this jargon term. Like I explain it all in my program, but I cannot explain everything in detail in the limited amount of time. But in a nutshell, ETF is very similar to mutual fund, but ETF have a mandate to track an index. Index is a group again of stock in certain environment. Let's say an index of US market, we call it SPY 500. It's the accumulation of 500 biggest company in America. So they put them together and then they reorganize it and they make it an ETF for you to invest with them. So you can buy ETF from your brokerage. ETF is better than mutual fund because they charge less management fee. So if you are going to invest in a simple way, ETF is one of the great way to go. And the next option is self-investing with knowledge. I have to emphasize it with knowledge, because many people want to invest in stock market and they just go and listen to some tip from YouTube and they jump right in. And that when they burn themselves, because risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. So when you invest, you want to invest with knowledge, right? So then this one, you have a high chance of getting a higher financial growth or compound rate of return. Again, there's a risk as well. But when you invest by yourself, you also have a risk management strategy to cap your risk. And the next one, hot topic, digital currency, Bitcoin, Ethereum. What are these? I have different class teaching about this. But digital currency is just an emerging new asset class that a lot of young people invest in it. It could have an exponential growth because, okay, Bitcoin, for example, start with no value. Until today, I just checked, it's 66,000 US dollar per one Bitcoin. right? It has an explosive growth in the last 5 years. So that's a new class of asset, but it's super risky and it's quite complicated to understand. The next area that you can invest and grow your money is real estate. Again, with knowledge, because you can get stuck in a bad investment with real estate without knowledge. The best way to invest in real estate, you have to look at the macro picture of the country. If you are living in a country that have economic growth, stable politics, right? And also have a very accommodated immigration policy. This is a place you can invest in real estate because your asset will increase in value in a multiple way. I'm going to talk about it later on. Real estate also risky as well. When I was working, I have a boss. He pretty much a world expert because we were in nuclear industry. So my boss said I cannot retire because I make a bad investment in real estate and also in stock as well. And that made me wake up. I like, if a world expert in nuclear cannot retire because he make a bad investment, what is my chance? If I continue to go this route, I probably cannot retire as well. So he actually one of the person who wake me up. And then the next option is create your business. But I find from my experience, create our own business is the riskiest way. Yes, you can have a great return, but in the same time, it's very risky because if you have a physical business, you have to manage the inventory, you have to manage a shop, and maybe you have employee, and sometimes you even have to clean a toilet, right? So it's a lot of things going into manage a business, and with the environment like this, after COVID, I find it very risky. So my focus area from the past more than 10 years has been in this. I never really invest in mutual fund, but I do ETF. I, of course, do self-investing with stock. I do digital currency, and real estate also a big chunk of my investment strategy as well. Wow, I have taken so much of your time already. And I know that most of you would want to go about your daily activity and may not have the luxury of time to be here for all the steps. So to get more information on investment strategy and the 5 steps to your financial peace and freedom, I would like to invite you to enroll on Financial Peace and Freedom Bootcamp. This program will give you everything you need to know to achieve your financial peace and freedom. There's more detail than I have explained in this webinar. And because I promised you that I'm going to give you all the steps, so let me make it up for you by giving you a big discount. And the link to the discount will be just below this video on the same page. The discount are for people who join these sections and will last for just 12 hours. You should take advantage of this opportunity and to change your financial story for good. It is your time and you are ready for financial success. I hope to see you in the bootcamp.